Greetings, I'm Brett Culp, and I am delighted and honored today to be part of this special presentation hosted by the National Collegiate Honors Council, and to celebrate this extraordinary moment with you. You know, this is a time in our world that is just extraordinary. But for you, in this moment, it is a time to stop and pause and to celebrate what you have achieved and what you have done to make it to this moment, even just in this last spring semester. The flexibility you've shown, the innovation you have shown, and the determination, passion, and commitment to stick with it and make it to this moment. I want to share some words and some thoughts that I hope will be helpful to you today. But before I do that, there's some other special people that are part of your world and this organization all around the country that want to share some thoughts with you right now.
My name is Mary Beth Rathy, and I'm the Executive Director for the National Collegiate Honors Council. I'm here with the well wishes of our staff and our Board of Directors to celebrate you as you graduate from your campus. What you've met along the way are people who've been able to hone those pieces of you into skills and resources and research projects that have built an entire community of people who are unleashed on the world in the next couple of days. We look forward to hearing all about the new things that you're building, the definition of success that you're recreating, and we look forward to knowing that honors was part of that process. Redefine success, honors grads, and keep us in mind as you move forward.
I'm Professor Elaine Torda, President of the National Collegiate Honors Council. Everyone has worked incredibly hard to get through this spring semester, and graduates even more to reach this significant milestone. The creativity and innovation I've seen from our honors community during the biggest disruption we've ever experienced together is truly inspiring. As always, honors program students, faculty, staff, and administrators continue to do our best for one another, our programs, our institutions, and even our nation. We may not know what the immediate future holds, but in honors, we know what we do best: lead, share, create, and evolve with times. Be well, be strong, and congratulations to the graduating class of 2020.
You did it. Way to press through. I know these years have been a journey and you have made it through. So we wish you the best.
We're wishing you the best from Fairmont State University in West Virginia.
And I just want to say congratulations to all of the class of 2020. Go honors everywhere.
Oops, sorry about that. Honor students are tenacious, resilient, and creative. It's just what the world needs right now. So good luck on your future, and let's get out there together and make a difference.
And I will tell you what I tell my honor students when they graduate, and that is a line from T.S. Eliot's Four Quartets: not farewell, but fare forward, voyagers.
Revel in your achievements and celebrate your success. Don't let anything get in the way of that.
Congratulations from Tulsa, Oklahoma, Midwestern capital of hipster beards and loud orange gowns.
Congratulations to the class of 2020. You finished your thesis, your coursework, and you are ready to graduate and go. We wish you all the best.
I'm so proud of you and wish you best of luck on your next adventures. The world needs you out there, so go get them.
It's not every student who takes the extra level of challenge to engage in the honors requirements and the opportunities we put before you, but you did it. So again, let me add my congratulations, and I wish you the very best in whatever you do next.
And behind every honors diploma are a wonderful collection of stories of initiative, of perseverance, of conversations, of relationships, of challenges. And you have prevailed.
On behalf of the Honors College at Florida Gulf Coast University, I want to congratulate all the graduating honors students.
Congratulations!
As a documentary filmmaker, I've had the opportunity to travel around the world capturing amazing stories. But the stories that have inspired me the most, they've never been the tales of celebrities or high-profile people. It's always been the stories of people that you've never heard of. People who on the surface seem very average, very ordinary, very everyday, but who have done something amazing, who have made a difference. People who have joined together as a community to make the world a better place and to help others. And that's why this moment is incredible, to stop and to take stock and celebrate. Because at this moment, you are launching out on your heroic journey. And what a time it is to launch out that way. You know, I was thinking recently about a story that I captured for one of my films, Look to the Sky, about a young lady named Annelise Carr. When Annelise was 13 years old, she went on a school field trip, and they visited a summer camp, a camp for kids with life-threatening illnesses and their families, a place where they could get away for a little while and just enjoy some time together. Well, Annelise was so touched by this camp that she said, I want to volunteer. I want to help here. But they said, I'm sorry, Annelise, you're going to have to wait 5 years. You have to be 18 years old to volunteer here at Camp Trillium. Well, Annelise didn't want to wait 5 years. She wanted to start right now. So that night at her dinner table with her family, she announced that she was going to swim across Lake Ontario to raise money and awareness for Camp Trillium. Now, in case your geography is as bad as mine, Lake Ontario is not a pond. At its most narrow point, it would take at least 16 hours for Annelise to swim across it. And she wanted to set a world record as the youngest person ever to do it, which would mean she would have to stay in the water the entire swim unassisted. She couldn't be touched. To give her food and water, they had to put it in a lacrosse stick and hoist it out to her. And they were going to do that for 16 hours with a 13-year-old. Well, just a few weeks before the swim, Annelise announced that this journey she was on, that she was going to raise $30,000 for the camp. Well, a lot of people thought she couldn't do it and that was too much for someone to try to, of her age and her resources, to try to set a goal to raise. But I want to introduce you to Annelise and show you what happened.
We just kind of blurted it out, like, hey mom, I want to swim across Lake Ontario. We had awful weather, so it took 10 extra hours. It took 26 hours.
So far, and still counting, $193,000.
She's affected thousands of lives.
I mean, the thing that really kept me going during my swim was thinking about all the kids at Camp Trillium. That's what really, really motivated me. And I would have never thought in a million years I would swim across the lake. It was totally like the Camp Trillium motivating me to keep going and to even get into the lake.
So Annelise was trying to raise $30,000. They ended up raising over $200,000. And the swim was supposed to take 16 hours. It took nearly 27 hours. Now, when you're in the water for that long, you know there's a big chunk of time that you spend at night, in the dark, swimming all alone, surrounded by darkness, in very cold water, when you should be in your bed asleep. And I want you to imagine what it was like for her all alone. No earbuds, no Spotify, no podcasts, just her. And you think to yourself, well, that's no big deal. They could just surround her with boats and light her up. But you can't do that in Lake Ontario because it attracts eels in the deepest part of the water. And they didn't want any eels on Annelise. So there was no light. Now imagine that, being 13 years old and going through that situation. But it gets worse. In the middle of the night, a small storm came through. And there was a 5-hour period where Annelise swam her heart out and lost a mile. Now you say, wait a second, how does that happen? All that has to happen is that the winds and the waves are moving just faster than you are in the other direction. And you're giving it everything you've got. But still, you're losing ground. Have you ever felt that way? In something in your personal life? Maybe in your school life? Maybe in your work or professional life? Maybe you're feeling that way right now. Like with everything going on in the midst of this crisis and with this virus, that you're giving it everything you've got. But some days you look at the end of the day and you feel like you haven't gone anywhere. In fact, maybe you have lost ground. That's a terrible feeling. And if you're having that feeling right now, or if you've had it recently, let me tell you this. In your personal and professional life, it's not the last time you're going to feel it. There will be times when you feel it in your work, with projects that you're working on and part of. There'll be times when you feel like that in your health, with your fitness, with health goals, with different things that are going on. You will feel that way financially sometimes. Like you're giving it everything you've got, but you're not getting and not accomplishing what you want to accomplish. You will feel that way sometimes in relationships, that you're giving it your best and yet it just keeps getting worse. How do you keep the right focus and the right mindset in those times, today and moving forward in your life? Well, one of the things that was so interesting for me about this experience with Annelise is that if she had finished her race, her swim, in the amount of time they expected, the 16 hours, they would have never raised the $200,000. Because when the local news networks in Toronto, which is where she was going to land, when they found out that after 20 hours she was still going, they started live coverage of her swim. And once they started that live coverage, the entire community got behind her, and the number just kept going up and up and up and up. It was actually those things that didn't go according to plan that actually set her mission on a track, on a road that no one could have ever expected, that actually skyrocketed her. Sometimes the fight is your friend. Sometimes the very thing that you feel like is breaking you apart is actually revealing the best in you. It's revealing your character, your values, your strength, and your determination. And it's unveiling to yourself and to the world what you're capable of achieving. It often reveals innovations that we would never have thought of before. Each one of my films is very positive and hopeful, and that word hope gets used a lot. But what is hope? You know, we use that word, but what does it actually mean? What is hope? Some people see hope as a negative thing. You may have heard the phrase before, hope is not a strategy. And I know what people mean by that. It's important to have best practices and plans, to set your plan and work your plan. You can't just say, well, I'll just go out into the world with no strategy and just hope that things work out. That's not a good idea, and very often things don't work out. You have to go out with intention, and that's important. However, I think hope at the deepest level is much more than that kind of mentality. Hope is about seeing a bigger picture. And for me, I think hope got much easier to understand when I started exchanging it with another word. A word that we understand much more readily and easily. And that word is possibility. Hope is possibility. It's about looking at what is, acknowledging the difficulties and the struggles and the problems and the challenges, but then imagining what could be, what's possible, what could happen, not only in your life, but in the world. We do that very easily with babies. The day that you were born and in the time of your early life, the people that loved you most, they looked at you and they saw all that you could be. Now, the reality in that moment is all you could do is eat, sleep, cry, and poop. That's all you had. And they loved you just as you were. But they also saw more. They saw all the things you could be. And they held space for that. They held space for all that potential. And they have invested years, decades, into that that possibility. At its core, parenting is about hope. It's about holding space for a child and all the things they could be. And that space was held for you and is still being held for you by those that love you and care about you the most. But you know, that work of holding space, that's also the job and the role of every leader in the world. To see what is, but to then hold space for what's possible, for what could be. Napoleon said that leaders are dealers in hope. Leaders are dealers in hope. One of their greatest abilities is that opportunity to see not only what is, but what could be. So many people get stuck in today, in this moment, or in the pain of the past. And they're never able to paint a picture of what's possible, of what could be, and then invite people to join them in that space. That's the opportunity that you have today, to give to the world that hopeful sensibility that was invested in you for so many years to get you to this point, to this moment in your life. Now, during this time and over the next several days, there are so many people that will say to you, congratulations. Congratulations. I'm the only one that will tell you the truth. The truth is this: you're just getting started. This is just the beginning for you. The reality is, if anyone deserves congratulations, it's all those people that have held space for you for so many years when they felt like strangling you. But know this, deep down in your heart, that every time in this point in your life when someone says to you, congratulations, what they're really saying is, we believe in you. We believe in you. We believe in what is possible, in what you can go out into the world and achieve. And we believe that all that sense of possibility and hope that we have shared and invested in for so many years, that you will now bring to the world. That the light that is in you will now shine for everyone to see. We believe in you. I was working on a project a few years ago and I interviewed an astrophysicist. And we got to talking about stars and starlight. And he said, people have a fundamental misconception about starlight. They think that when they're looking up at the night sky that they're seeing that star right now. But that's not true. The reality is everything you see in the night sky is very old light. It's old light. And here's what he meant by that. If we look up at the sky, the closest star to us is, of course, the sun. But the next closest star is the Proxima Centauri. And that star is over 4 light years away. Which means that if tonight everything was positioned properly and the sky was clear and you could see the Proxima Centauri, you'd be looking at light that left that star 4 years ago. But you're just seeing it now. But what really blows my mind is Polaris, the North Star. That star is over 400 light years away. So that means that if tonight you could see Polaris, the North Star, the star that guided travelers home for centuries, you would be looking at light that left that star when Shakespeare was still writing sonnets. But you're just seeing it now. Because that's the nature of starlight. It shines through the darkness, unwavering in its course, until it reaches its destination. Here's the truth. You are starlight. You are starlight. Shining through the darkness, sometimes feeling alone, sometimes feeling insecure, and uncertain about where you're headed and if you will ever find your way home and if you will ever reach your destination, if your work matters or if your life matters. And yet, one day, after all those years of uncertainty and shining through the darkness, you arrive. And how glorious, how beautiful, that some fool like me will then look up at the night sky and say, wow, wow, how amazing, how glorious. And in that moment, you'll say, where were you? Where were you in all those sleepless nights when everything felt wrong and I was riddled with anxiety and uncertainty and fears? But that's what it is to be a star and to live in this universe as starlight. Your job is not to know all the answers or have it all figured out or always know where you're going, but it is with intention and hope and passion and commitment to shine. Because here's the truth. In the days ahead, the work that you will do and the difference that you will make will touch lives that you will never meet. You will make the world better in ways that you will never even hear those stories. But all of us that have been cheering you on since the day you were born, we know. We see it. We already believe. We know the possibility and potential of your story. We've known from the beginning that you are starlight. And so, my friend, even when you feel like everything is wrong, even when you are giving it everything you've got and still you're losing ground, keep swimming through the darkness. And even when you feel that all is lost and everything is wrong, keep holding space for hope, for what's possible. For there are galaxies within you. You are filled with wonder and beauty and magic and light. And so, my dear friend, today and every day, shine. Shine. Congratulations. We believe in you.